Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another weekend update video, and this weekend we've got a very special guest on the program, the one and only Massidia. How is it going, my dude?
Oh, it's going pretty well. I'm super pumped to be on your weekend update. It's a video series that I actually watch every week. I love that style of kind of just like more blogging style, learning about you and stuff. So thanks for having me on.
No problem. And a lot of times on these, like, I'll just talk about, like you said, like anything, like a new house, other video games, whatever I'm doing. But my life and my content have definitely been dominated by what is going on in War of the Visions right now. And I feel like, and you can talk to this because you're also a content creator, that when something big is going on in the game that you're playing, if you're a content creator for that game, you almost can't ignore it, or it would feel like you're like neglecting your duty or something. Even though there's no contract, we haven't signed any papers with like the viewers, I do feel like I had to kind of really focus on this. And so we're going to focus on it again in this one. What do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I totally agree. And that was part of what was so tough for me because I was on vacation when the news dropped and I didn't have Wi-Fi on the cruise that I was on. So I would get bits of Wi-Fi in town when I was at a restaurant or something. And so I heard about this. I kind of quickly, like screenshotted the announcement so I could read it later in more detail. And it was really tough knowing that I couldn't make a video about it for, a whole week. And it's definitely something that you have to talk about if you were not going to do so. I mean, just like when I made my video and some people thought, like it was really a minority, but they said, like, oh, you're being overly negative and this is harmful to the game because of your platform. Well, it's also the same, the other way around where people, if you're not speaking up for the game, then you're not doing, enough with the platform or the audience that you have.
Yeah. And I it's really weird. And like, this is, if you guys are just like, everyone who's watching this is actually the second time we filmed this because we had like mic issues. And so we got like 30 minutes into the thing and realized the audio was broken. So we're restarting. But something we didn't touch on last time that it just sparked in my mind is as a content creator, there is definitely an expectation put on you by the viewers who are your customers. And something that good content creators do, or at least have the capability of knowing when to do, is when do you need to add a little bit of customer service in there. And customer service might mean getting off of your like regularly scheduled programming and delivering some kind of like, hey, we need to talk about this. Like, I feel like a lot of times what I do is end up just easing the minds of everybody, which when the announcement was first made was my goal, because there's been, and I'll ask you how you feel about this, but I feel like there's been a lot of times in War of the Visions history where it's been the end of the game. For something has happened, whether it was a fake thing, a real thing, EX jobs. Like, I remember when Transcendence was game over. There's no way this game lasts another 6 months because Transcendence is here, and you mix that with Trust Stones and EX jobs, and this game is if you have under a 75 IQ, there's no way you can play this game, and that's everybody who plays, because you have to be an idiot, or, and I was like, okay, chill out, y'all. Like, the game's fine. And so that's my typical, like, gut reaction to, people bringing up like end of service. I'm like, this is the 9th time I've heard this, and so okay, go ahead. What are your thoughts on like that, for example?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's so important for us to say something, and I'll say that most of the the things that have happened in the past in War of the Visions where people have been up in arms about, I've generally always been coming from a very calm place of, hey, let's just like look at this and take it easy. And this is one of the first times where I've been pretty fired up about something and actually been pretty frustrated. But I also think that just like with people look to us to actually get some information about the game and how a unit might work. Or I think you were talking about maybe it was in the Ready Player Will and JB79. You're talking about people want to hear me talk about the news. People want to hear me. They don't want to read that kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
It's also the same thing. Yeah, people say, or people don't necessarily think about it past a certain point. Consider all sort of possibilities, and by you coming in with something more assuring and more, thought out, you can quell some of the kind of wild speculation or the, fear mongering or whatever it is. Some people might just look at one aspect of it and get really hung up on it and really elevate that and get very worried about the game. And when you calm down and look at it as a whole, oftentimes it's not as bad as you think. Because I think one thing that is kind of being forgotten about is that the base thing behind this, the syncing up of these two servers in terms of timeline, isn't a bad thing.
No. I would argue, in fact, that it is like better than a neutral thing. I would argue that it's a good thing because it brings more of a sense of excitement. Like, it is, even as a content creator, it's kind of stale to just every Friday basically, or most Fridays, depending on like what JP's updates are awkwardly timed a lot. And so I hope we don't get that. But I just like, oh, look, here in 4 months from now, here's another ice student. And so then I can then I make a video telling people, hey, this is coming. And a lot of times, some of my most viewed War of the Visions videos ever were like, I would do a month by month kind of like projecting out over a 4-month thing, especially if there was a big, like the big cap would be like, oh, there's Final Fantasy VII Remake coming. Here's everything from now till then. And that way people could like know how to save and all of that. And like, while I think that's a useful thing, it removes some of the like magic from the experience. And what I mean by that is like, it seems like now every Monday, at once, not now, but in like a couple of months, every Monday we're going to be like, what? Huh? What's coming either now, or they said sometimes some stuff will be delayed like a month. And so we'll be excited about it again. Now it's going to hit some people in the Visior, I think, but the excitement part of it is a big deal for me. I think it's a positive thing. The alignment, the method of getting there has been for me, the other side of that coin.
Yeah, absolutely. The way that it's come about with the bugs, with the kind of like perceived lack of gifts. Well, and because there have been some gifts, and it's the value of the gifts. And we talked about this the first time we recorded this. How important Visior is purely just Visior for free to play and light spenders. Like they need
as
that
the currency
more than
itself.
Anything. It has to come. Like that is the most important thing that people are missing. And without it, it's just totally gonna rock people's experience. And that's something that has to be kind of addressed. And so we also talked about this the first time, but for those of you that don't know, we're getting 400 extra Visior per week right now in our weekly login bonus, which is 500 more than JP gets.
Okay, so we get more than JP does. Now, I like our normal weekly login bonus is 2,100, but often during collaborations, it'll go up to 25. Like,
is that right?
Yeah, and like there's not a stated precedent that this is what it is, but it is something that it's something I've noticed. Like when we have a special collab, our login bonus goes to 2,500, which it used to always be, but then it got moved to 21, and then so like I like, yeah. So that's just something I noticed, but go ahead. What's JP get?
And so JP gets 2,000 per week. And then both servers get 1,500 per month. So one thing we kind of speculated on was tonight, we're going to find out obviously another weekly login bonus, but we're going to find out the August login bonus. And that could be a really good way of assuring people by having something on there. Now, of course, it's really dangerous to put something on a monthly bonus. And that's kind of what you said, that, if you want to speak to that, where they could actually, the biggest thing is that they do something and announce it.
Yes.
But it has to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So like my take on that is, I don't think they should change our monthly login bonus this week, because everything else they've changed either broke and so they had to not end up changing it, or has just still doesn't work. And sometimes Chocobo Expedition this last week kind of didn't work in my favor. I've gotten over 100 Ferris shards by just spamming silver tickets in Chocobo Expedition. I've gotten like 6,000 Visior worth of Ferris shards from Chocobo Expedition. That's insane. But that only is good for people who pulled Ferris. If you didn't pull Ferris, that bug doesn't do you any good. But there's been bugs that have hurt. And so they have not said anything. I will die on the hill that they cannot update the special shop right now. I hope they fix that, but I don't anticipate it even being fixed until they have a real patch, because like the first week of this was a real patch, and there was like 5-6 hours of extended maintenance. It was so much so that by the time the game was live, I couldn't even make my patch video because I was like out in the world doing life. And so then this last week wasn't a patch, it was an update. Or I don't know, like, sure, those things might be interchangeable, but sometimes they do a big patch. I don't anticipate the special shop having something new in it again until maybe the next big patch, until maybe we're like ready to go again. And I think it's like, if they would just come out and say, hey guys, we can't fix the special shop right now. We have the final version of what we want, and it's ready for 2 months from now. And even if that's a lie, I don't care. Like, just say something, and then say, and in the meantime, like, all those Visior packs you've been waiting for, we don't have a way of putting them in the game. I'd be like, hey, that's stupid. You should, but at least you told me. At least I'm not, every week I don't get on and be like, Visior pack H? Or, oh, Visior pack F, the mythical creature. And so with the monthly login bonus like you're talking about, just keep it how it is, and then just have an extra little gift in our mailbox that says monthly Visior present from Hiroki, and it's just 2,000 Viz or something. And then the community can be like, hey look, here is our monthly Viz from one of the 4 months that we're missing. And they can start to feel good about that. And then next week do another one. And then next week do another one. And just over the next months, because like they'll not give us a bunch of stuff up front, because that doesn't make sense, like business wise. I don't think. I think it needs to be I would release it in waves so I could keep building a little bit of goodwill every month. But I don't think they should edit something like the login rewards, because I don't want the login rewards to break. I want to get them. You know what I'm saying?
They just have to be really careful that if they don't do something, that people are going to spiral. It's just going to be people are going to be refreshing the game, and it says, hey, a new day has begun. And then they're going to get into the notices, and they already have read it up on their second monitor. Post is already typed out. This game is what, and then they're just going to go ham.
Yep. And like their post will be lost among the like 8 other people who had that same post typed up. Yes, exactly. It's just like a copy pasta meme, but yeah, like it just, okay, like the gift we got last week, it was like over 5,000 Visior worth of stuff, but it wasn't Visior. And people want 2 things. There are 2 things that over the course of my channel, that when I talk about them being good, people are like, yeah, this game's turning the corner in the positive way, man. I love this. And that's more Viz or really good banners. People love really good banners because people like to pull. Like something people don't talk about very much is that like people who play gacha games, there's a part of us inside that like to roll the dice. Like we do. We like to get on there and hit that summon button and be like, come on, baby, bring it home. And so if you incentivize people who like to pull, and you're like, hey, look, here's some pulls you can do for like free, like a bunch of free pulls. People love that. A bunch of like 2,000 guaranteed vision card Esper banner would be awesome. You know how many people would have pulled that? And then,
big time.
Okay. Yeah. So there, I feel like I talked forever, but go ahead.
That's why when I do spend in this game, it's usually to pick up some paid Visior that I am going to save for a rainy day when there's a 2K paid vision card banner, or just like another, like a paid pack or like something that is just really influential for like a unit or whatever that I'm trying to get. And it's not something I do regularly. So when I get like 6K paid or something, I'm like, I got to hold on to this. I'm only going to use it at special occasions. And I know that that's not, going to keep the game afloat or anything, but that's the way that I spend and the way I play. So, if I don't see those opportunities, I'm just not likely to actually get in and actually, buy anything. And like Final Fantasy collabs are typically when I've purchased Visior is like right on every single Final Fantasy collab. And so there's no reason that can't happen again, but
well, there is a reason, and it's because they don't update the special shop and don't put any packs in there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But dude, like even with like the method you just described, I have a very easy way of making you spend more money. Put 2K banners in the game that are like something you want to pull. And then you're like, oh, this is what I was saving for. Let me drop that paid that I have. And then a couple months later, you're like, oh, there's another one. Oh, I used it last month, but like it's $40 or something. You know, like I got that. Okay. Yeah. And like, where's that? Like, where's the good deal? Where's the flat screen TV when you walk into a Walmart that's like on sale for such a price? You're like, you know, my bathroom really could use a flat screen TV. You know, and at this price, I'd be a fool to pass that up. Like, where's those deals? Sometimes I like to accidentally make a purchase, you know, like, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I just think so much is broken right now.
Yeah. And I think we've definitely talked about it this recording, but we talked about it more last recording, is how much consistent communication will help. And the analogy that we used was when you're at a restaurant and your food's not coming out, you know, maybe they're down a fryer on apps. They can't get their wings out of the kitchen. And the difference between the server coming by, checking in with you, telling you what's going on, keeping you kind of appraised of the situation, or just nobody, like people avoiding you, nobody coming by your table, you don't know what's going on, and you're just getting more and more frustrated. You want to just leave because you don't know. You're just the fear of the unknown, right? And that's the danger of what's happening here. And so if, like you said, if they spread out gifts or you know, periodically show that they're not just doing what was going to come anyway and accelerating it, but there's something beyond that that tells us, hey, we're here and we recognize that this is all happening very fast. And this is how we're going to, you know, try to help you out a little bit. It will make such a huge difference I think, for a lot of different players. Yeah,
I agree. It's just, it's like, I think they just have a massive messaging problem. It's like, even if you look, the first, we've had 2 Wednesdays since the announcement. The first Wednesday was an unmitigated disaster. And a lot of that was because like the gill shards just mysteriously weren't there. There was a couple other things that like since then have come back. Like, for example, there was no Bart shards on the login bonus. And couple days later, which honestly I thought was pretty quick turnaround for like customer service to actually do something in 2 days. I was like, oh, I didn't expect. Right. Anyway, they gave us the shards we missed. They put the gill shards back in the game, like emergency patch that in. And then because the shards weren't in the login bonus, we got like 40 Bart shards and 40 more Lena shards. And I was like, oh, they're on to something here. They've got it. And then that was like this spark of hope. I was like, next week, they're going to fix the rest of it. And then next week came out and I was like, nope. We got a little present, but yeah, the sad thing is that same week where like all that stuff was broken. If it had just been a regular week, like just they hadn't announced anything, Final Fantasy V had come out, I would have said it was one of the like best patches we've ever got in the game. They made trust stone leveling so much easier. That shine sand, I mean, you can level trust stones with a slider now. I would have praised that. There was other quality of life updates. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now, but we got like 3 or 4 big quality of life updates to the game that flew completely under the radar. Like they wasted a chance for like great PR because they didn't put gill shards in the game and like give us a free pull. Give them the pickle. Like you've worked in retail, you've worked in customer service. Did you ever have to read the book, Give them the pickle?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's so many times where you might have to comp something for a customer, or times where, you know, maybe it's just bringing like an extra appetizer to their table or whatever it is. Like you recognize the times. You can't do it all the time. It's not how you run a business, but you have to recognize those times where like that's going to make a big difference for their experience, and you're going to turn them into like a returning customer, right? Yep. And without that, you're going to risk losing them, but also them going and telling their friends. And, you know, telling their mom, hey, you can't go play War of the Visions because I just don't think it's the right game for you, Mom. And she won't play anyway, but...
Oh, yeah, I mean, I talked about that in my other video, too. Like, maybe Facebook ain't the place to advertise because...
Yes, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Was so funny,
like,
yeah.
Who's on Facebook? My mom. My mom can't play this game. My mom plays Words with Friends, okay? Like...
My mom just posted one of those like copy pasta, like, hey, like, is your Facebook settings like wrong? Just
Oh
copy paste this
no.
status and it will change your settings. I'm like, oh no, mom.
But oh, like I don't know how people are making money off of that, but somebody is. So, like I don't even know what the scam is, but
the chain emails from back in the day, the AOL.
Like our point is,
we
those
got a ton
people
of
aren't transcending units. Like they're not playing this game.
They're not doing trust zones. And so speaking of the quality of life, we got the EX ability upgrade with sliders.
So
we got the
nice.
affinity on and off.
Yep.
We got the summon ticket slider. I don't know
100
when
pulls.
this
You
came
can do
in.
100 pulls at once.
Yeah. Although I did today, I was trying to get some Magicite, and there was the 100 like large Magicite ones. You can only use those ones 10 at a time. But,
okay.
And then
so
Chocobo Expedition. Since when could we use on like 30 Chocobo Expeditions per day? That's awesome.
Since like the week before that. And so that combined with the current bug where like Ferris shards, by the way, if you pulled Ferris and you're not doing 30 Chocobo Expeditions a day, you're wrong. Like Ferris shards drop at an insane pace from the Chocobo Expedition right now. It feels like it's like 3x. I don't know what it is. They didn't say. And they had the like good presence of mind to like not insta patch that out. They're just going to let that bug simmer and let us just benefit from that, which is a good thing. Anyway, yeah, like so much good stuff. Like I feel like, and we can mix this in right here too. I kind of want to talk about like the new player experience a little bit. I've been focused a lot of that on my channel. And I know you have like you've played a new player JP account before. I think you said you watched my new player videos. Like from a gameplay standpoint, I've had so much fun with, I like, it's hard for me right now to even care as much about my main account because I'm having there's so much to do on my new player account and it's all doable. Like I run out of energy every day and I'm like, shoot, I need to go like multi-farm trust stones now. And like, it's so much fun. On day 7, I had a full 140 light team. In fact, it's like, there's something running in the background of this video. It's this team that you're seeing. Of those, I have Valentine's Day Miranda, which is one of the newest light units in the game. I have Wingstern and Bartz, who are 100 cost units. I have Lucio, who's, that's the freebie there. Okay. And then I had a select ticket and I just picked regular Mashari because she's cool. And I was like, okay, there you go. Mashari will fill out my light squad. All 140'd in the first 7 days. Now I knew what I was doing, right? And that's why I wanted to record those videos so I could kind of just like put people on a path. But you could do that, especially if you wanted to re-roll just a little bit, because my rolls were not good for what I was going for. If you re-roll just a little bit, you could pick an element and do this. Just pick one. You might have Mont and 4 of those people, but you would be well on your way. PvP team, 3-man team, no problem. Yeah. So the game's real fun.
And so I've started both global and Japan new player accounts and tried to progress both like pretty seriously at different points in the game. And I've also, but here's the other thing is that I played FFBE from the start when it was like 4 years old. I played Epic 7 when it was 3 years old. I've played multiple gacha games and tried to catch up with them competitively. And they all kind of have the same thing where there's the first initial bit where you are constantly meeting goals and milestones and beating difficult content you couldn't already beat. And you keep feeling accomplished and really, really good about your account progress. There is an eventual plateau where you're ready knowledge-wise to make it to the big leagues, but your account isn't going to be there. And that's the tough part, where I kind of addressed it in a video that I made a while back where, why not have ways for people to like unlock previous banners so that they can spend their Visior and money on it and grab some vision cards, units, or whatever. And the game's making money. The players are having a way of accessing things they need to take that next step because they're doing the initial, like learn about the game and develop your account really well. But there is that middle spot where when those players make it there, they will not be able to get to top levels or even just like competitive levels of Guild Battle Arena or PvE. Missing especially vision cards.
It's vision cards.
Maybe
it's vision cards. And that's like, if with this account, okay, and like there's a little, especially with some elements, there's definitely some like key espers in there. For my new player account, if they dropped a like, hey, $40 select vision card, $50 honestly, select vision card esper combo with all the shards to unlock it, I'd buy that thing instantly and I'd go get like Bahamut or Dark Bahamut because I don't have that. And like you're just saying, when will I get it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll off banner it at some point, or maybe something better will come out eventually. But my units are going to be there. Espers, there's so many espers in this game. Like, there's so many espers. Like, you're going to catch espers. You get so many pulls.
Yeah.
You're not going to have, like, the perfect one, but you're going to have good enough espers from what I've seen. But yeah, you're right. Vision cards, that is going to be the weak link. You get some decent starter ones with like elemental attack up on them, critical hit rate up on them, that are like true old-fashioned like rainbow VCs that hit everybody. And those have been a huge help on the account. But yes, I like every time I pulled, I was like, Bahamut. You know, I'm hoping for like 0.01% chance or something. So yeah, they should do that.
When you get it, you're going to be so far from completing it.
That's the other thing is like, if you're a veteran player and you get something you didn't, that's old, you have stars and Mog medals, and you will be able to at least like make some kind of jump. So it's not this like ultimate 2 shards a day. Oh my gosh, slow thing. But as a new player, you don't have soul stars, or you have some, but like it's enough to help you build your first round of units and vision cards. But yeah, if I pull the Bahamut, hey, the Esper, again, easy. Just go level it up. Okay, no problem. The vision card, well, I got it, and I'll just eventually it'll be something I can use in a year. And that's not, you're right. They should just put that in the game. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Totally. Right. If people are spending Visior, then it's good for everybody. I mean, I want to put in here that your guides are super essential for anyone that's getting into the game right now. So like I said, I watched them. And one of the most important things you talked about, it was like a pulling video, and you're talking about why you're pulling for things.
Yeah.
But you talked about how you have to be so careful on what you're pulling for and what you're not, because new players have this reserve of Visior they can farm and tap into. But once it's gone, and like it will just take all the longer to catch up. So I think it's kind of something I spoke to in my video too, that the game is pretty complex. And so just like kudos to you for making this guide series, and I hope that new players are finding it and watching it so that they can have the best shot at kind of, you know, having like, because this game offers points where they're enjoying what this game has to offer and they're not getting stuck or discouraged or anything.
Yeah, and so something I'll mention is I actually in my Discord the other day, I had to just kind of like put a cap. I don't moderate my Discord like super heavily, right? People are pretty much free to talk. If you're not fighting someone or being offensive, as long as you're like, if you're talking War of the Visions and the War of the Visions channels, I'm probably gonna be cool with it. But it was like day 9 of the same theories about the game that are just negative, and people are just going around in this circle over and over and over again. I was like, guys, look, this is counterproductive to like the type. First of all, like, I'm making new player guides, and I want new players to come into my Discord and be able to like talk. And so y'all are just in here fighting with each other, and you just need to stop. And they stopped. Like, the people in there, they're probably like, yeah, all right, I'm just being kind of negative, whatever. And they quit. And then like, my Discord right now is full of people I've never seen before who are new players asking questions. So like, and so for all the people who say no new players play this game, blah blah, like, no, there are all the time there are new players playing this game. They might quit because they're lost, or they might quit because they hit like you should my account will plateau. Okay, let me just tell I'm at the point now where I can predict exactly what my account's going to do, like pretty much accurately. I'm going to be able, if I wanted to be top 100 in arena, as long as I had some kind of bonus unit, or I had a lot of like refreshes available, I could do it. I won't, but top 1,000 in arena, nah, it's not going to be an issue. Absolutely. You have enough teams to pick from. You just maybe build anti-dark with some buffs and physical and stack defense, and sync up your agility, do some like basic PvP things. You can find a team that you can beat. And in fact, I think my account right now is on like an 11 arena win streak. I'm in like 7,000th place or something like that, but I'm beating people who are ranked like 152 and I'm ranked 75. And so if you know what you're doing, you can win an arena. Guild Wars, you're not joining a top 10 guild. Like, it's not. Your wallet better be deep and your luck better be unreal. And that's not who I'm making the guide for. But no. I will be competitive in a month. And that's just going to be finishing a couple vision cards. I will be mostly competitive at the end of next week. Really, the biggest time problem for me is trust stone farming. That's going to take about a month because your best gear in the game is trust stoned out TMRs.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And so pink trust stones, you run into the biggest problem is hammers. You just don't have any, like, you want to move passives around, but you don't have any. Anyway, there's a lot there. I'm just saying, like, I will be high end in a month in one element only. Like, I can't switch up the elements, but my light play will be competitive in a month. And I think that's what I wanted to show, is just that, like, it is very possible to get into this game right now. And then you just have to be, just save until something that your account needs, or, like, to be real, it's not like you're going to get fired from your job if you wipe in Guild Wars. You know what I mean? Like, if you just want Ferris and you want to just, like, make her work in some weird way, pull her and do it. It's a video game. Like, go pull what you want and have fun with it. And that's, I don't know. This game's so fun. I hate that the money side of the game is, like, muddying the player experience in a lot of ways. And I feel like this happens with a lot of game companies.
Now, I want to, in case someone's like listening to this and they're driving their car or something, like, just so you know, Orange didn't just say you're not going to get fired from your job if you're guild battling. He said you're not going to get fired from your guild if you lose. Okay, so don't play War of the Visions at work unless you know you're not going to get caught. Okay, don't want anyone getting in trouble.
AFK farm while I'm at work.
I used to put my tablet in my school when I was athletic director. I had like an actual office, and I would put it in my desk so the drawer would close, and then I'd be typing away, answering emails. I'd pull the drawer open a little notch, look down. Okay, it hasn't crashed. Put it back into the drawer.
The hasn't crashed part is like way too real too. Oh man, like. Oh yeah, I've wasted a couple planning periods in my day for sure, but that's my time. Yeah, I do what I want.
I want to actually just compound that and say, because I see people right now, people are experts on that, like, no new players are playing the game and stuff, and I made a video about why people aren't sticking with the game, but new players are joining the game. They join constantly. They join my Discord too, and they ask questions. And it's the same thing with people are still joining FFBE regularly. Like, I'm constantly getting people coming in for both games into my Discord and commenting on the video. So there are new players, and that's why I made the video that I made, was because I think that there's certain things they can do to make it a little bit easier for new players to grasp the game and kind of understand what's going on, because it is pretty daunting to get into. Yeah,
there's a lot. Like, you just open the game, and I think mobile games in general a lot of times have this problem. It's like you're on the home screen and you're like, there's 19 buttons.
Yeah.
Like, and inside of every one of those buttons, there's 30 more buttons that go to sub menus. And yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. But I think the biggest thing, if they changed one thing that would enhance the new player experience and income that they make off of new players, it's exactly what you said. Put some kind of like have there be banners that you unlock with keys, and the keys are like $10. And then you could just unlock this, like, because like they're gonna need to make money. I understand that, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's a technical reason why this isn't a thing, because like no gacha games do this, right? Like, it's not a thing in any game that I've seen. Like, old banners being just accessible.
Oh, Epic 7 did a really cool system. So this is a game where like every character gets a side story with like fully dialogue and missions and stuff. So so let's say you want to go ahead and grab like a certain unit. You can play their side story, and you can, so it's like the Farplane archive. You can just go unlock their side story. Same thing, right? When you complete their side story, their banner will open up in the summon tab, and you will be able to pity them and pity their artifact, which is a vision card. So every single like Farplane archive story has a unit and a VC tied to it, and you can use your 1 a day to unlock their banner and buy their shards in the shop and all that kind of stuff. Or, you know, you can buy more keys and have it open longer, whatever it is. The issue with War of the Visions is that they don't nearly have as many side stories. Certainly not for every single character, but the concept is still really, really awesome. Like just the fact that at any given point, you like a unit, you can go just unlock them. And it's not like it's a deal or they're discounted. Like you have to do a full 600 currency pity in Epic 7 to get that unit, but you can go get them. Yeah,
that's it. Like, do you know how like hard I'd go on Dark Bahamut's banner? I would pay, I would throw money at that. I'd be like, look, I need it. I would justify it. I'd be like, I'll eat grilled cheese sandwiches for 3 days. I'm just gonna go get Dark Bahamut. And then I'd end up just going out to eat anyway and regretting that. But like, yeah, I would just, again, it seems like such an obvious way to make money. How has no one done this? Like, or how has no one at like WoTV just been like, hey guys, you know what? We got like 100 vision cards. Let's put them out there for sale.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Yeah. Having to off banner something to get it is insane.
Well, and if we were even just looking at vision cards, they could just start rerunning vision cards.
Yes.
Weekly. And that would be enough. Like that would be, and
that
people
would be enough.
Spend their Visior on it.
And people would also spend their Visior to finish old vision cards. Because like you don't, there's gacha games out there, and I hate games that, okay, look, here's something. Okay. Honkai Star Rail has massive amounts of positive press going for it, right? Like people are generally very, very okay with this game, right? Like you don't see a ton of negative stuff. The gacha system in that game is not forgiving. But you want to buy currency? It's in the shop. Just go pay full price for it. You get a discount once per price tier, and then you're paying full bore for it. So it like the deals are worse. There's not deals really, and you need 7 copies of a unit to max it out. 7. You have to go pull duplicates of a unit if you wanted it strongest. And people just like they're like, well, it's not a PvP game, so it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, like for people who are collectors, it does matter. Especially if you have a favorite character and you want to max them out, you're talking like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to max something. But what does that game do a good job of? Marketing. Like they sell themselves well. And like, also, they do a cool thing in that game where like you have a banner and then you have like, now it's their equivalent of MRs that are like on every banner as well. So like if you're pulling for
rated up and everything.
Yes. So like, just some kind of because in War of the Visions, you're actually better off spending your Visior to level something you already have than throwing it at banners. Because if you throw 2,000 visit a banner, don't pull anything, whoop, that's minus 2,000. Go again. And if you have a unit like Bart's on my new account, I bought every shard I could find for him because I needed to. That was 10,000 viz. I don't have anymore. Well spent. Well spent. I will take 1 guaranteed 100%. Duplicate worth of shards for the equivalent of a pull. And you could just release old vision cards, and if I had it, I would just go buy the shards. And then when something new comes out later, developers, I'll have to buy Visior to get it. It's a win-win. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. That was a long-winded way of saying I think your idea is good.
We solved the new player experience.
Dude, here's what they should do. They should get like me, you, maybe like Will, JB, like the content creation team of War of the Visions in a room. And be like, you all actually know the community, right? I'd be like, yes. How can we get them to spend money? And we would simultaneously make them a bunch of money and make everybody happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are,
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah. The open invitation, by the way, intern Coon, like help us help you. Oh man.
Yeah. In Vegas, of course, right?
Yeah. Well, they're going to foot that bill too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously, right. Yeah.
This is not a Zoom call. This is a in-person with briefcases formal meeting.
Just content
by,
creator summit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
okay.
That is so never going to happen. But
now I do want to throw in my little bit from the JP side of things for starting a new account. It's very, very similar, but I will say the reason I'm even sharing this is I don't recommend people go start an account there, but just to give people perspective that they literally like just got the UI where, let's say you're in your unit menu and you pop open the if you press like the top left or something, you can go to any other menu in the game. And there's a home button to go back to the home screen. They just got that. So previously you had to use the back button or just go all the way to home and then go into shop. You couldn't go from like far plane to shop to.
They don't have that like hamburger menu that comes down.
They didn't have any of that stuff. So they just got a bunch of quality of life stuff that they didn't have before. And like, for example, they don't have event skip tickets. So you cannot skip event. Yeah. You can now skip Alchrist and job memories with story skip tickets, which is pretty sweet. But you like the event tab straight up, you can't skip anything in there. The background farming helps a bit, but there are no event skip tickets. So that helps, does not help out very much. But the biggest thing to compare the two of them is that at some point during Global's existence, we got drop rate increases. They never got those. They still don't have them. Like when you go and you start playing this new player account and you try to get some Alchrists and you're getting so few, you're like, what the hell's wrong with this? And they have terrible drop rates. It's just, yeah.
It's like 10x drop. It says 3x drops on the top. Like they just never update that. It's okay. If I do say I'm farming job orbs, you know what I mean, for like a black mage or something, right? Normally, when you've been playing an account for a really long time, you go to the special job rooms, right? Over in the far plane. On a new player account in Global right now, and actually I have it on the screen. I was going to show everybody. It says 3 times drops for like story. It's 10. You get 10 times. As for that kind of stuff. If I get 1 drop of black mage, pink, job orb, I get 10. And so leveling up all these jobs, I just skipped all of the far play stuff. And I was like, well, I'll just go to chapter 8, scene 3, part 1, and I'll farm it 20 times and I'll have 30 black mage job orbs. Well, I'm done. I can transcend this unit now through job orbs. And so, yeah, it's so nice. Man. So it sounds to me like JP, hopefully, because I want the best for all, like, if we're going to align, let's give everybody the best of both worlds. Straight up.
Yeah, 100%. They also don't have any units or vision cards for sale in the MOG shops. They only have unit shards, no vision card shards, and then no actual units or no actual vision cards either. So a bit of a downgrade
about,
there.
Like,
but otherwise, yeah, none of that, and no like Solidus vision card and
really,
yeah, they have these shards, but not you can't buy herself.
So like the crazy thing about that to me is we've had this for so long. Like I'm looking in our guild metal shop. It's Giza Whisper Luartha. Giza's the only one like worth going for here. And you're really like worth in terms of like meta. And you're really only going for it for her bells, which aren't even as super necessary as they were 2 years ago.
A lot of units solve it themselves now. I would say that Luartha is good for the 3-chain if you didn't get a different person that can 3-chain. But other than that, yeah, there's really not a reason to do it.
Then what do we have in the friend metal shop? It's Ildira Mashari Ketone with Medina shards in there because we get Medina for free on like a bingo board.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean like Ildira is a great pickup if you don't have somebody who can like, you know, insta AoE farm stuff for you like a calculator can. But this could really use an update. Like there are definitely units, because otherwise I think you're better off saving your friend metals for elemental mats, archive key if you need, you know, like there's better things in here than I think these unit shards even.
You
So,
could eventually, like, I know right now I'm in a place where I'll just buy the unit shards to get Mog medals to
yes.
stockpile. And that's not where a new player is going to be. The new players do need to buy some of those material things in there. But that's one of the biggest things that it's kind of interesting. I wonder what's your perspective on this as a spender, that people are, we'll talk about on Reddit. Oh, you got to go for the 9-step because the blossoms are just so valuable. And I have over 30 blossoms and I never dip below 30. Like I just don't build nearly as many units as other people. So I never run out of gil. I never run out of any upgrade materials, any blossoms or anything. So bonus materials to me really don't mean a lot. Same thing with like antlers. I think I still have like 5 antlers. Like I just don't spend them at the same rate as other people. So it's really subjective how important that stuff is when it comes on a banner. But people assume from their own experience that it's absolutely essential that, we're given these things. Like, is that kind of, do you run out of materials like that, or are you like pretty stocked up on stuff?
Okay, so like UR scroll, like I tend to run, as a spender, I tend to run out of like whatever is the top tierest in leveling somebody thing. So like UR scrolls, I've max reincarnated 2 units, and that took money at first, and then I quit spending on it because like the deals never got better. So I was like, well, I'll just slow this. And so essentially ever since, I've been acquiring them at the same rate everybody has been since week 1. And I've been able to max reincarnate 2 UR units, but I mean, I'm way out. So if I see a pull that has like 80 of those on it, I'm like, if that's part of a step up, that's tempting to me, because now I'm that much closer to my next reincarnated unit. Antlers, I do run out of those, but we get them, like, there is a fairly decent free income of those. Like, it's like 2 a month or something.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
I think so too.
Yeah, that's been fine. Blossoms, it's been a really long time since I've been short on blossoms. A really long time.
What about rainbow orbs? That's the
Oh my god, I have
killer.
300. Like,
oh really? Okay.
I have and I have my new player account open right now. It has a bunch. My new player account is juiced on those. But I can see how they would run out. But ever since, basically once vision cards got their alternate leveling material, that's when my rainbow orbs just started stockpiling. I don't know exactly what I was buying that gave me those. They were just an added bit of some pack that I bought regularly. And so, I'd like to give people who are watching who maybe don't know, I spend $300 to $400 a month on War of the Visions. That's basically my budget. Occasionally, nothing. Occasionally, $500 or $600. And so, that's, and yeah, so like, I will say like I think a lot of people's opinions is based on the time that like when they were the most like pushing, leveling different stuff. It's like, if that was a year and a half ago, man, Blossoms of Paradise were everything. And you had to do 9 steps because that's how you got them. I would say now, like if I was giving somebody advice, 5-step vision card banners, if you're a new player, there's XL Magicites on there. And like, if it's on step 2, it might be worth 4,000 viz to get yourself a 100 XL Magicite select ticket. Or if those things are in the shop for like discounted, leveling Espers is, especially if you're not using your monthly tokens on them. But yeah, no, I don't run out of much. Farm Gil on the weekends when I need to. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking right now. We were talking about the stuff being in the shop. In one of the shops, the shop with vision cards in it, I don't remember which one it is. There is Solidus, which is a URVC. And then there's Vow of Love and Secret Orders. As a new player, you are given level 70 Vow of Love and level 70 Secret Orders. You are given those cards maxed. Like, if you start a game...
that's definitely outdated.
It's definitely outdated. That is like the most So, JP doesn't even have it, and we have a 2.5-year-old... It feels like, it's probably more like 2-year-old version that really could just use something that we don't get maxed out for free. I think that's probably a reasonable expectation. But yes, I don't think anybody checks on that stuff, honestly. Like,
yeah. It's been forgotten. For sure it has. It's not the most important thing that's going on right now.
No, Everybody
Oh my
moving back
God.
to J. Do you think? Here's something. A theory I have. I really think that. I think some of the people who maybe worked on the global side before are prepping for Ever Crisis, because Ever Crisis launches in maybe 2 months. We don't know for sure, but it's close. And I think that like the timing of this, I think the Addison Rae collab was not nearly what they thought it would be, and I don't know what they thought it would be. I tried to give grace on that one, mostly because we got really good free stuff, and I was like, I don't care.
And a great
Like,
unit. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man. And so, God, this account would be balling out if I had maxed out Addison Rae on it. Oh my goodness. But I just think like I think it didn't make them any money or something. And so that was the like, okay, let's go ahead, let's sync up our teams, and let's maybe shift some resources to our next biggest thing, which is Ever Crisis, and it's a good thing. I think people will really enjoy Ever Crisis. Did you get to play the beta?
I did not get to play the beta, but also it came out, I think, like a day before I was going on vacation, so I didn't like try to look around to try to get in or anything.
That makes sense. No, it's a PvE only game, but I think it's gonna be. It doesn't have PvP in it, and so I still don't understand how games like Genshin and Star Rail make as much money as they do.
I know it makes no sense to me.
None. But I think we're people who enjoy PvP, and so that makes me want to try harder in games. I don't. Either way, it's a PvE only game, but there's all of the like Final Fantasy VII stories I think are going to be in there, but then the extra stuff, they're like their version of Tower, their like ancillary things are just a lot of fun, and the gachas like has insane rate. Like I think the UR drop chance is like 7.5.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's rare to do a 10 pull and not get a 5-star. Basically, you're like, oh look, I got 2 this time.
Them, right? That's what I heard.
It's weapon banners, and so there's just some of them that are very important, and duplicates are important as well. So it needed to be
but
good.
You know what though? It's fun, right? Like you said, we're all gamblers to a certain degree, and when you get to see a rainbow, that is a fun experience. So I mean, kind of an interesting way to go about it.
But I think it's an evolved way to go about it. It's just like exactly what you said. When you're sitting there and you're pulling for a new unit in this game, and you're 3 pulls from pity, and every one of those pulls there's no UR in it, it's this feeling of like, I never even had a shot. I was lost the whole time. Yeah. Whereas if you're just constantly pulling URs, you're like, man, I didn't get what I wanted, but look at all this. I got a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right. Well, I think is there anything else you wanted to mention, talk about, or anything? Or
I think we said it all.
Okay. Yeah, I if I was gonna add some like closing thoughts here, I think and I'll ask you this first and then I'll answer, is what is your what's your kind of philosophy from now until the servers are properly aligned? Whatever. I know they gave a date, but I'm not 100% sure that like they will have actually executed that date. You know what I mean? Like I'll believe it when I see it. But what's your mentality? What's your approach from now till then, basically?
So, and it's funny because I was pretty fired up for my video, but realistically, nothing changes for me because I've always just pulled for units that I found interesting, or if I really thought there was a team that I could put together, then I'm going to just go ahead and go for those units. Now, I'm looking at the units that have to come out, and if there's not a ton that have caught my eye in terms of what I usually go for, but if let's say they announce one more unit next week that's like a lightning or fire unit, I'm probably going to have to pick between one or the other. And that's just the reality, depending on what they give us. But that's probably where I'm going to be at. And so my philosophy is to just let it slide off my back. Whatever I'm going to end up getting out of this, I'm going to get it. That's what I'll have. And we'll see, give them a chance to be good communicators, give them a chance to have the game be in a really fun state once the sync is put together. And then I can make a more informed decision on what I want to do going forward, once we've gone through it all. And along the way, we can poke fun if it's not going well, or
Yeah.
or give them a little bit of you give them an attaboy if they do something that they deserve it for.
It's like, I would really love to do an attaboy video. Like, I'm in a very much like mood where like, and one thing I want to say too is like, I don't think, I know on Mondays, like for some reason, and this is another thing that blows my mind, it's like they announce what is coming out on Mondays, but we never actually see the banners or the deals or the gifts until Wednesday. It's like a big mystery. It's exactly what you were talking about. You're sitting at your table in a restaurant and you're like, is my food coming? And sometimes you order 12 boneless wings and you get 10 and you're like, I feel like I got, this isn't what I wanted. And sometimes you order 12 bonus wings and they bring you an extra bunch of chips and salsa because you had to wait longer. And you're like, hey, all right. And they give you a little discount. And you're like, all right. And so I wish they'd just tell us on Monday.
Yeah.
I mean,
agreed.
Yeah. And like, so I think my plan is very much like yours, where I think and this is the thing I would tell the people. I don't believe in telling people how to spend their money. I will talk about what I think is a good deal or a bad deal. But if you want to buy the bad deal and you got, good. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my game. Love that you do that. And if you want to buy the good deals or don't, whatever. But if I was playing the game, I do play this game and I do have a budget. The thing for me that's happening is my budget that I mentioned what I spend earlier is just that still. I might get twice as many things that tempt that budget, but I'm just not going to double my budget. Like, I can't do that. For one, that would be irresponsible. And that's kind of my approach. And then, like you said, like, this will be done. Eventually, we will end up where we end up. And I'm very curious to see where that is. And if we get the best of both worlds, like if we get whatever JP has that's better than us, and JP gets whatever we have that's better than them, and after 3 patches it all finally works, great. I'm happy, and games should get more accessible over time. And I hope this one does as well. I would just encourage everybody, like if you had a budget before, there you go. You still have one. And if you just want to pocket it until then, go for it. That's fine. It's your money.
Yeah, you can press pause, right?
Yep.
And you know what I like to say is that your account will never get any worse. Now, of course, like with enough time, you might be outdated, but like in the short term, your account's never going to get any worse. And if your account's already in a good spot, then don't stress over it. I want to add in one thing that when you made me think of when you said, oh, let's get, what's the best that JP has and vice versa, is JP is like flooded with tickets. They get so many banner pull tickets. Like right now they have a summer banner. Like they have a banner that you pick which summer unit from the previous years that you want to build your pity up to, and they're giving like 3 summon tickets for it a day. And in general, they get like 4 tickets or more per banner. Like they only get 60 viz from the daily missions, and we get 100. Yeah. They were getting 100 less viz per week. They just get just an absolute boatload. They're just shipping them tickets every day. It's pretty, and those are fun.
Yeah, it's fun. You log in and you get to pull. It's fun to log in and pull. Who doesn't like pulling? Well, I think some people would say they don't, but they're lying.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Exactly. Go play regular Final Fantasy Tactics and just start over a bunch of times. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you for joining. We should do it again sometime. And
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was weird doing it kind of all twice because we had those technical issues, but hey, we got her done. And we're at 58 minutes and 35 seconds. So we successfully kept it under an hour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, guys.